Hey guys, Lumen02, currently playing 100 card singleton, won the die roll, which is a big deal. What do we think of this hand? I like this hand. So what we're playing here, we're testing actually. So what we're playing is a black-white death and taxes list. I think it should be pretty good. I am going to fetch here for likely just a tapped black-white land. Yeah, well, that's all I can get actually. Excuse me. I don't need the Shambling Vent. I don't want slow mana here. I actually just want to get this Weathered Wayfarer down. And albeit I'm low on cards, I don't need to play a land next turn. So depending on what they're on, this could be very strong. So blue land, cool. Blue-white land. One drop be the best draw in the deck. I'm actually just going to pass it and try to use this thing to gain some card advantage. Yeah, I dumped card advantage early, but I have a pretty strong mana advantage right now, and I would like to utilize my Weathered Wayfarer here. All right, Ponder. I can just sit on this and eventually just like wasteland them out or tech edge them out, or they're going to play a land ostensibly, and I can get something different. So I don't know what Booze Mongoose is on. Possibly something banned. Maybe just blue-white. Alright. Go find a land. These are the times I wish I just had like an Ancient Tomb in my deck. Rishadan Port is actually the land we want here, because that'll allow me to, one, still utilize the Weathered Wayfarer but limit their mana abilities, and cast one of my two Planeswalkers on the following turn. So I'm going to play it out here and say go. Weathered Wayfarer is not a card that sees a lot of play, although it tends to be a 2-for-1 value card or more. So the Blighted Cataract can stay in play. I'm just going to continue to grind value with this thing. I mean, if they want to play spells, they got to play into it. For the most part, if they don't want to play into it, then I can just resolve something more than likely. Okay, Azorius Signet. So I'm going to look for probably a Wasteland here, but let's think about it first. Tech Edge is also interesting. Caracas, not bad. Horizon Canopy's more cards. I think it's just Wasteland at this point. So, go. That's interesting as well. I'm just going to play the Plains out and jam one of these two. Probably Gideon, because he's probably the hardest to beat. Alright, we're getting Dazed here, which is actually pretty strong for them. Do I want to play one for Dazed? No, I do not. So we still have the LD, we have some discard. We're not in a bad spot. They got Dazed, and they're back a land drop, so they're back a little bit of tempo. This thing can get in there now. So we've been Dazed, which sucks. I mean, I think we played that as strong as we could, but Dazed is one of the cards that could punish us for it. That or like Force of Will, but I mean, I think it was the right line to go for it there, because, I mean, if that card resolves, we just wreck our opponent. Alright, they have a Grim Monolith as well. Interesting, interesting. So, what is up next in the docket? Another man land. I think what we do here is just see if we can resolve this Elsbeth, see what kind of counter magic options they have, or, possibly just Wrath effects. We'll see. I mean, they can counter this if they want to hide the information. So, Misdirection, Catastrophe, Day of Judgment, Mana Tithe, and Gideon Jura. I think actually, I mean, we get the Mana Tithe here. Resolve this thing, because his cards really don't do a ton against them. What does Catastrophe actually do? Destroy all lands or creatures. Creatures that can't be regenerated. Okie doke. So, I think here we just create a 1/1. We have the man land in hand. And they can resolve their Gideon, but right now it would entail tapping their Grim Monolith. Yes, well they got a land they needed. That's good for them. So they'll resolve Gideon, I assume. Okay, Gideon will force attacks. Okay. Caracas is actually a stellar draw because it allows us to bounce the Gideon if it ever tries to come in for an attack. So I think what we do here is just play out the... Well, one, we go for an attack. Tap one of their lands. They could utilize their Day of Judgment to try to get through, but Caracas protects us from the Gideon just killing outright. I hope they do this, because if they do, this is a 6/6, right? They could try to go for the Day of Judgment here to try to open up the lane. Yeah, which, like, if they don't recognize the new interaction with Caracas is just going to wreck them. Could also be Catastrophe. Destroy all lands or all creatures. They can't be regenerated. Well, I presume we're probably not doing lands, but I don't really care which. I'm going to let this happen. If it's creatures, it's fine. If it's lands, it's an interesting call. Especially with... I think it has to be creatures, right? So Caracas will wreck their Gideon Jura. This has to happen, but it's essentially a 1-for-1 exchange because my Weather Wayfarer is the only card it really gets. The rest of them are just tokens. Lands. Interesting. Okie doke. Well, that's fine. Okay. This is a very interesting line of play to me. I can't say I think it's right. I'll just block with my soldier token, right? This thing is not unblockable for any reason, right? Okay, well, cool. Maybe he recognized too late that he had done that. I don't know. Okay, well, I'm going to start grinding value here. Let's go hunting for what here? Probably... Flagstones would have been nice last turn. Probably just Mutavault, actually. Let's just go for a Mutavault. Play a Mutavault out. Create a 1/1. Could destroy the Weather Wayfarer, but that's going to expose the Gideon to death. Okay, it's just going to keep on attacking. This has been a weird game. I might make the assumption that like he destroyed the lands, thinking that I don't know what. I don't rightfully know. All right, so no lands on his side. Can we kill this thing this turn? Yes, we can. I mean, I guess outside of, like, bounce or something like that. Alright, so we eat the Gideon. I think here we just play the Mishra's Factory. I know I'm losing utility at this point. I'm a Weather Wayfarer, but the card's really already done its job. I mean, I could not have hoped for more from this card in this matchup. And yeah, I think Weather Wayfarer was kind of the key to success. And obviously we had some fast mana as well, which was strong. So a decent bit of artifacts. I think I like Disenchant in this matchup. Vring Wingmare seems decent. Excuse me, guys. I do like War Priest of Thune because he may have moats and stuff like that. Reanimation doesn't seem like a thing. Castigate's interesting, but I think Sin Collector is probably better. Winter Orb and Ankh of Mishra I think are going to be good against a mana-intensive deck like this, but I could be wrong on that. Sword of Light and Shadow against a Wrath deck is probably just as good or possibly better than the Sword. I'm going to take the Sword out. For this matchup, Declaration Stone seems horrible. Silver Knight seems bad. Core Firewalker seems bad. So with this deck, I'm running some like weird cards in my main, like the pro red guys, and some white weenie decks do that too. Is because this deck actually has a worse matchup than white weenie does against red deck wins. So I want to short up in the main. This deck is also not as good in the mirror, like against white weenie mirror, not in like the mirror itself, not the literal mirror. Fragment High is good. What else do I want? Lantex is probably great. Lingering Souls is probably an unnecessary thing to have in the deck. It's not horrible, but it's also not great. Kimball seems good. Kitchen Finks, I think we can cut that as well. Journey to Nowhere, yeah, I'm going to cut that too. Let's give this a shot and see how it ends up faring. This is the first time I just put the board and the deck together, so I've tested it in like a Legacy match because this deck is actually Legacy playable, but I haven't tested it in the actual format itself. The deck that my opponent's playing is extremely interesting. So it's like basically a white control deck. Okay, well we have the staple card that won us the game last time, plus some ramp and some card draw hate and a Planeswalker. So this hand seems great. Opponent's going to 6 on the play. Not bad for us either. I do not play 4 Weather Wayfarers, but it probably will often seem like I do. I am a huge fan of this card. I think I'm one of the few players that's actually played it in White Weenie and had success with it. I've never been upset with the card, though. It's possible that I wanted to play the black land there because I may get into a weird situation with Weather Wayfarer where I don't have the available... I don't want to play land drops. That may seem weird, but it's actually true. Alright, so what do we have this time around? Another land, fetch land. Probably fetching Tundra, I guess it would be. It appears to be like a blue-white, like big mana control deck. You have an artifact mana as well, which would be more problematic. Okay, well, we've got it. Going for value here, or should I just tempo him? I'm going to tempo him a little bit. I mean, this isn't really... Actually, I'm sorry. I'm not really even tempoing him. I'm just trying to get card advantage right now. He's up on mana. He'll likely play another land. And next turn, we'll see what we do. This deck does run more lands of note. Obviously, it's a 34 land deck, which is a lot of mana. It's pretty extensive. Okay, so Into the Royal's my thing. I think we'll cast this here, actually, to thin our deck. He can counter this if he likes. You have a Force Spike. Mystical Tutor, for what? Pourquoi? So what are we Mystical Tutoring here for? That could be dangerous. It's not like he's going to do a big Entreat the Angels. It could be a Terminus. But Terminus against my 1 Weather Wayfarer seems kind of rough. Could also have Daze. Be hoping to daze my Weather Wayfarer. Treasure Cruise, okay. Well, obviously, in retrospect, the I mean, I guess we wouldn't have resolved the first spell we cast either way, so that was probably the best line. Thin first. Well, I probably could have fetched there just to thin a little more. This is going to be a TC, so go up a lot on cards. I think we're just going to take the time to resolve the Gideon at the trials. It's the hardest thing to remove. Okay, so you got a lot of cards. Oh, I got 4 cards, I guess. 3. Well, we're just going to make an emblem with this. We know Daze is out of the deck, so that's cool. Ooh. That's pretty interesting. Alright, so Gideon of the Trials, which, unless he has Force of Will in hand, alright, get an emblem with, as long as you control a Gideon, blah, blah, blah. Can't lose the game. Which means he has to deal with the Gideon in some way, shape, or form. Alright, Wasteland. I mean, you can blow up my land if you want. That's cool with me. I've got plenty of those. Alright, Sapphire, or Medallion, rather. Sapphire Medallion, rather. Alrighty. Deck appears to be faring decently well. Sapphire Medallion belies some sort of combo kill in his deck. A lot of control elements, though. He must not have hit lands off of that. Alright, Winter Orb. That's great for me, dude. I have an Aether Vial in play? Interesting. Okay. Yep, I'm gonna... Yeah, I have the threats. I mean, this is... Okay, well, I don't really know what the hell is going on here, evidently. I'm going to fetch and take a look at his hand to see how this would make possible sense. Read him and weep, I suppose. Well, my opponent will have to draw something exceptionally special to get out of this. I have no actions to take. They play the one land we knew they had, the 2 artifact lands we knew they had. One tap this one. And I am going to put a counter on this. Don't need to cast that. Alrighty, well, that appeared to work. Let's try again. Maybe he's testing that deck. So, give it one more run. The deck feels like it runs pretty good. I mean, it's supposed to beat up on control decks and combo decks. That's kind of the point of this deck. So, the reason I'm doing the testing is because we're looking to do some significant unbans that would make combo a lot better. So what this deck gives up over White Weenie is it's probably marginally worse versus mid-range, unless you have like a fast start. And it's probably worse than the mirror. I still think it's probably advantaged against red deck wins. But what it really should do is just hose control. Like you kind of saw. I mean, we did pretty good in that matchup. So what do we think of this? I mean, I think it's a keepable hand. It's greedy because it's a one-lander, but I am running like 34, I want to say, off the top of my head, which in a weenie deck is a lot. I guess I wouldn't call it a weenie deck. I mean, it is kind of a weenie deck, but it's also a very taxy kind of, disruptive deck. And the Bob, if we draw a land and resolve the Bob or the Tidehollow Scholar, Bob's probably the first order of business. We'll see what he's got. I mean, if he has an answer to this thing right away, then we could be in trouble. Okay, Arbor Elf. Interesting question is, if we hit the land that we need, which we do, how do we play this? I think Banisher Priest is actually really good in this sort of matchup. Here's the deal. I think I am actually going to get rid of this and see what he's got in his hand, because I don't know if he's playing a monocolored deck or not. Bramaz is just a behemoth, hard to deal with. But I think... If he has like natural order or something like that, I'm going to feel sick. So, alright, or this, which is exactly why I did it. Alright, so he has a bunch of lands. Do I attack here? No, I think well, you know what? He has no way to punish this, right? Tree Speaker, Oracle, Collective Brute. Alright, blah, 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 blah. Yep, attack. Even if he draws a red land, he doesn't have a burn spell to cast, so I think this is still correct. He's going to play out his Jiraga here. Makes his land drop, red land of note. Cool, a land. I think the right play here is to actually limit his mana production here. So I'm going to Banisher Priest the Jiraga and not attack this time. Yep. The attack does not make sense. If he top decks like Lightning Bolt or Burst Lightning or Firebolt, like we don't feel good about that. So he's evidently built a green-red deck as well, which tends to be good against White Weenie. I don't know how good it's going to be against a tax deck. And hopefully he misses his land drops and does nothing, if we're lucky. But his deck probably runs a lot of lands. Yeah, he's going to draw lands like a champion. He's going to play out the Courser this turn, which is good. I do think his keep was exceedingly greedy, though. I think his keep was wrong, actually. But what can you do? Let's look back at his hand and think here. Like, if he resolves the Oracle, how bad is that for us? I think I need to be a little greedy. Like, he's hit a couple lands in a row. I don't know how many he runs. Come on, Moto. I think I need to get this thing down just to start getting into more gas so I can bust through. But for now, I'm just going to pass it and say go. So we'll draw into some cartage here. We do have the Tidehollow Sculler, so... Alright, Reclamation Sage, sweet. So that card will kill the Sculler, but we can at least get the Oracle out of his hand. Will be a good draw. Yeah, I assume you play this. So the wall is in place. Got good blockers. Okay. Got a bunch of clunkers in hand, though. Now, if we can get rid of this Courser, then we should be okay. All right, that's going to come into play untapped, which means that the Inferno Titan is very close to to coming down. But luckily for us, so we're going to get the draw step next turn. And we'll be able to get rid of one of these red lands. They're going to draw some Moot, though, which is also very powerful. So we know Duress is not live. I think... Yeah, I have to use this proactively. I need to start damaging them really fast here. I know they're going to get this with... I know they'll end up getting this at the Reclamation Sage. However, I think that is right. So they missed their land drop. They have a Samut, which is uncastable right now. They can cast out the Oracle. Oh, actually, they're not going to cast out the Oracle. They're just going to blow up my artifact. Yep. Makes sense, man. Okay. I think I still proactively use it here. I got to get some tempo going. Do I mind trading the Bob? I'm going to keep the Bob around. Green, of course. Alright, so they are going to draw the Green Sun Zenith at this point. And they have a Garruk on top. They can cast out the Oracle, but that doesn't do much. Samut is uncastable at this point. Alright, they're going to Green Sun for a Dryad Arbor. Cool. Okay, I assume they found... What'd they find? They failed to find, so they don't have Dryad Arbor in their deck. They just wanted to shuffle and try to find lands. Interesting. That's a very odd gambit to take. Well, we have not been hitting lands despite being a fairly landed deck. Neither have they, though, so they're going to get their land here. They have Samut available to them. Okay. And they know for a fact I drew that, so they're probably not going to play into it. Let's get rid of Garruk here. No Garruk, just a bunch of fatties. Alright, we have to respect... I guess we should have respected that, but now we're going to get effed by it. Oh, okay, so Inferno Titan is coming down. Oh, this is a sizable misplay. This is a blessing, actually. Wow. Huh. Okay. Yeah, Inferno Titan was the actual play there. I don't know why they went for that. Wow. Yeah, so this Orzhov Pontiff is going to actually allow us to break through here. Unless we die to our own Bob, which is actually impossible. So, actually, maybe not. Wait a second. So they actually just gain 2, gain another 1. Can't tap that, though. It's going to be tight. So I can block 3 cards. Orzhov Pontiff. So let's do the math again here. So that's 8. Blocks 3, takes 2, 2, 3. So that's 8 down to 7. That's Xaxes. Sweet. Feels pretty good, man. Down to 0 exactly. So, yep. Yep. Xaxes. All right, begin boarding. That was tight. Now, the opponent should have won that, being fair, because they have Inferno Titan in their deck. Deathmark seems good. Dark Blast seems okay. Beyond that, I really don't know, guys. Like, I don't think this is supposed to be a good matchup for us. If they keep greedy again, then we can get them. But they kept significantly greedy. This is good. These are fine. Cataclysm, like the Wrath or the Clism effects are pretty strong, I think. I like Avon Mind Sensor. I don't have a Pro Green Sword, but I have Flyers. Kitesail Freebooter seems, well, he does fly, so that's at least a thing. Grand Abolisher's bad in this match. He's just a 2/2. No one's countering any spells here, let's be honest. Cabal, or Cambal, seems kind of marginal as well. Lingering Souls seem great there. I mean, just Flyers. Do I want to cut a 1-drop of some sort? Probably not. I want the removal. That's going to be relevant, I think. Bramaz sort of gets outclassed fast, but yeah. Phyrexian Revoker. Actually, no, it's fine against Mana Dorks. It's okay. Selfless Spirit. No, it flies. It can't be that bad. Do like the Arb. Stoneforge is still fine. Council's Judgment's probably okay. It's slow. Duress. Well, how about... I'm going to be on the draw. I'm going to take out Inquisition. Oh, wait, no, never mind. I'm already at cards. What am I talking about? All right. Go, deck. Win me some games. This is a hard matchup, though. Red-green fatties against like any sort of weenie deck is generally bad. At a minimum, this one at least. All right, so I have to keep this just due to the power of Mirroring Crusader. Even if he has like red cards that can probably kill it, I think it's strong enough that we got to give it a try. We have some good removal. The hand is slow, though, so we're hoping to draw into land or 1-drop. Ideally, 1-drop, then land. So I don't really want more lands in this. I'm just going to go ahead and fetch now, just in case. I don't think there's any things that like punish me for this. They're going to do it now, too, just to play around the White Stifle, I guess. Okay, they're going to find Stomping Ground. Cool. Yep. And I'm just going to find a tap land here. It's also pretty disastrous if I draw it, so I know I should probably do that on their end step, but I'm just kind of playing fast. So we have a Silver Knight next turn, which I guess is okay. They have a good Mana Dork. Like, I don't know, maybe a Sylvan Caryatid would be fine. Wall of Roots is pretty strong, too. Do I want to Duress here? What do I think is more relevant? I think I'm going to Duress because like this Knight does nothing. Alright, so they have Baloth, Fauna Shaman, and some garbage. Okay. Well, if they play... The obstinate Baloth doesn't bother me. The Shaman is actually more of an issue because it allows him to find cards. So I wouldn't be shocked if he just plays out the Tutor effect here. And if he does, and he's just play this thing out, that's fine. I'm actually happy he does that, because then I'll just play out the Mirror Crusader, which says, like, hey, dude, get bent, basically. And ideally we draw into land, so we have Mother of Runes that we can play. So if he draws like red removal, we can hopefully play around that. Council's Judgment may have to deal with the Fauna Shaman, because I don't want him just finding good stuff. Or he's going to ramp. Cool. Okay. Okay, now we have to get rid of that. Just going to jam this thing here. If he wants to attack me, that's fine. I'll play the Gideon out. Alright, Elvish Mystic, fine. Could also play Silver Knight plus Mother of Runes, but that doesn't seem phenomenal to me. Okay, well, now we get to do a lot more stuff. So Obstinate Baloth will do 0 damage. And hopefully he doesn't like Mize an Inferno Titan and just kill, like, beat us. If he has like an Inferno Titan, we probably just lose on the spot. Alright, well that's unfortunate. Luckily it does have double strike. And regeneration is actually going to not be relevant here, because this thing will just still knock out of combat. It'll first strike it. Okay. So he can hit the Gideon down to dead, but then takes a very big hit in the backswing. Okay, Vizier of the Menagerie. Strong card. Plays his last land and probably kills the Gideon. So strong draw to the opponent in the form of Sulfuric Elemental, or Sulfur Elemental rather. Okay, so the interesting thing here is Prot Red. I really can't play much, can I? However, my 6-power attacker, my Ball Lightning, my habitual Ball Lightning, yep, it's fine. Obviously, Hallowed Spirit Keeper's bad in the face of Sulfur Elemental. So I guess in this instance, I don't really do anything. Now, if I draw, like, I don't know, like a removal spell for that thing, then I can probably lock this game up pretty quickly. No attacks from the opponent. Ooh. Card Engine. And F6. I can't really do anything. I could cast out my threat and like let it die. Okay, that card's irrelevant. And cool, I'm drawing cards once again. And there's a card that matters right now. All right, land. All right, and now we're just drawing all the cards. I mean, obviously 4-drops are not where we want to be. Knight of the something Nimbus. This is pretty cool, so... Gotta sink our teeth in as fast as we can. I think we play out this, because first strike back is going to make sense here. And get in there, you flyers. You glorious flyers. Again, flyers. That card will end the game if he doesn't have like a game-breaking spell. Inferno Titan would be probably the best thing he could get. That is not it, but it's okay. Sweet. So, I'm going to go ahead and stop it there, guys. I got to test this new Death and Taxes build out. It's a lot more interactive. I think it is a more skill-intensive deck than White Weenie because it doesn't just run the Bashatoids out. Now, it has the option to run the Bashatoids out, which is generally what you want to be doing against control. But in matchups like this, where like his deck is extremely well set up to just like hose my deck, like Obstinate Baloths, Ramp, 3/4s that draw cards off the top, a lot of card advantage, but also bigger bodies is tough. As you can see, we took a significant beating from our own cards and from theirs, but we're able to get there in this hard matchup, and then one that I think displays like the softer matchup, the matchup that's easier rather. Has a softer matchup to something like black-white Death and Taxes, which is blue-white, control that had like a billion wraths, but some of the opponent's play in that game was kind of questionable too. Like blowing up the lands was like, oh, okay, dude, well you got around Caracas, but now you have no lands, and I have a thing that makes recurring 1/1s that can just block your Gideon, which eventually won me the game. But I think the deck's pretty sweet. I don't know how good it is in the meta right now because there's so much White Weenie running around, and I think it's bad versus that. I think I need to like run like some bad board cards like Glare of Heresy just to like try to win that matchup, or like I don't know. There's got to be something that would be decent that's in black that is one-sided, unlike like Virtue's Ruin. And I've got like Dark Blast right now in Deathmark. Dark Blast probably better than Deathmark, but there's got to be like a good black card that I'm not thinking of yet that just hoses white on one side. So I don't want to hose my own cards. I don't feel like playing Toxic Deluge is good in this deck. I mean, I guess if you have it in your opener, you can slow roll it and like just try to like take a bunch of incremental damage and then blow them out. But I mean, it's like then they're just fighting off the top of their deck and you're trying to recover from like a life total of like 5 or 6 or something, and it just doesn't seem good. So this is the deck, Black-White Death and Taxes. Very fun to play, and at some point I will probably do a deck tech, but I hope you guys enjoyed this learning experience with me as we kind of branch out and experiment with not a new archetype, but a new way of playing an archetype, which is specifically Death and Taxes. And while it may look like it's an aggressive deck, I mean, it can be. Really, the key to the deck is actually interaction. Whether that's through the combat step or it's through, cards like Fragmentize, which I don't see a lot of White Weenie decks playing, and I think it's actually not bad main because, I mean, it gets Moats, it gets Search for Azcanta, it gets Sylvan Library, it gets Courser of Crew Fix, which is a hell of a blocker, gets a lot of cool stuff, like Sulfuric Vortex, Humility even. So I haven't gotten to use the card to its full potential yet. Actually, I used it, I think, in the first match. I think it's good. I think it's a good card. All right, guys. Well, enjoy and take care now. I'll see you guys all later.